afternoon, Facebook Live. It is Eunice LaFate, owner of LaFate Gallery, located at 227 North Market Street in Wilmington, Delaware. First, let me recognize the music. The music you're hearing is the music of Wilmington, Delaware's famous drummer, jazz drummer, Jonathan W. Whitney, from his 12-track album titled Life's Dimension. And that album was created in conjunction with 5 of my paintings: Dreaming of Peace, One Love, One Heart, Circle of Love, Equality Perspective. Yes, those paintings were used to be incorporating that music. And I'm very, very proud and thankful to Jonathan for that collaboration. If you'd like to get a copy of the album, it's on the screen. That is www.jwwmusic.com. We have to support each other. It's Black History Month, so we should buy black and support black businesses. He's a musician, also a business person. So go get that album, Jonathan Whitney's powerful album. And you can hear the drumming there. This guy's a drummer extraordinaire. And we collaborated all the way back to 2016 when he led the musician team for the Jazz Vespers at the Episcopal Church of St. Andrews and Matthews here in Wilmington. We call it SAM. And I collaborated, having 17 children. I guided them to create art. It was an interactive Jazz Vespers, and the children created art in response to the music. And then again in 2018, we collaborated with the Jazz Vespers, October of 2018, and this time we had the adults painting interactively to the jazz music. So thank you, Jonathan, for all you do for music education. And as I talk about education, you can see from the screen that today my focus is on education. But before I get there, I just want to describe this morning. I had a very powerful interview with Reverend Kevin Benjamin, also a musician extraordinaire. His church is St. Paul's United Methodist Church in Odessa. And 2 years ago, we collaborated at my church. That's Easy and Mount Carmel United Methodist Church in Wilmington, Delaware. He led the children in music, all kinds of music, just wonderful. And I guided them in art. And we had a great exhibition of the artwork, and then the children played the drums and the instruments and performed. Just wonderful. That's what I love about collaboration and the power of the arts. Okay, now this Sunday morning, Reverend Benjamin will have as part of his service the interview he did with me this morning. And it's a very, very elaborate interview, a great interview, talking about Black history and diversity. Well, I'm not going to give you any tips. You'll hear it. And if you're a member of Easy and Mount Carmel United Methodist Church, you can watch both services. Reverend Benjamin's service will be at 8:30, and our service doesn't begin until 11, so you'll have the chance of seeing that great interview that Reverend Benjamin did today at my gallery. You know, not only is Black History Month again, and this is very important, not only did he come in to do an interview, he spent some money. That's right. He purchased art to take away. And every time, and he has been here a few times, every time he comes to the gallery, he purchases art to add to his collection. He's going to be decorating his son's room with the art he purchased. Now that's what I appreciate. I appreciate collaboration, but I also appreciate people patronizing art, valuing art. That's very, very important. So he's going to be providing me with a link to his service on Sunday, and I will be sharing that link. And the fact that his service will be at 8:30 will give us ample time to watch, and he says his service is only an hour, so we'll watch that service and then we'll have time to watch our service. So again, Easy and Mount Carmel United Methodist Church, my church, located at 800 North Walnut Street in Wilmington, Delaware. If you're listening out there, Reverend Benjamin had served very well at Easy as a musician. Now he has his own church. So there, as I said, there has been this great partnership and collaboration. It was just a joy this morning to welcome him to the gallery and to do that interview and to have him purchase some art. Bottom line, that's important too. I get a lot of lip service in the city about, and awards, a whole lot, which I appreciate. Don't get me wrong. I truly appreciate every award that I've received. And actually, let me choose some porn here. This is the most recent recognition, right here. The News Journal, Delaware Online, recognized me as one of the most influential Delawareans in the arts and entertainment. That is huge. That's big. Well, this should appreciate the value of my work. This should send a message to you out there to say, it's time. It's about time. You know, we have a slogan here in Wilmington. It's time, Wilmington, Delaware. It is time to collect a work of art created by, yes, this person, Willis LaFaith, who is now recognized as one of the most influential Delawareans in arts and entertainment. I don't take it for granted. And art is wealth. So purchase the art now. I implore you to collect value. You collect value. And this is the place, Wilmington, a place to be somebody. Let me thank a corporation. You don't have to give out these thanks for Black History Month. Yesterday, I had the joy of taking one of my pieces, this same here, right here, framed limited edition of it, to the Hotel DuPont. And by the way, the Hotel DuPont is in this painting. This was done in 1998. The Hotel DuPont with that red logo, it's now, I think it's a Citibank logo, is on that building now. That's why, again, this is very iconic. We're talking about our city, Wilmington, Delaware, which has made national, international spotlight and is still making history. So yes, Rob Buccini coordinated it, along with General Manager of the Hotel DuPont, Greg Kavanaugh. And I took the piece there yesterday, and Greg placed it in the showcase, in the lobby with the light. And it's just glowing there. Yes, I want you also out there to have a limited edition of this. Okay, and you can get this at the gallery, 227 North Market Street in Wilmington, Delaware, or you can get it online at www.lefategallery.com. And now we have made a lot of souvenirs from it, a whole lot, because this work is so valuable. And if you live in Wilmington, you should get a copy of it in whatever form, a mug, a t-shirt, throw pillow, phone case, the works. And you can get those at fineartamerica.com. I did put that HTTPS link there. Okay, good. So yes, now let me take on the subject, which I'm here to discuss this afternoon. And it is a very serious subject, one of which I am very passionate about. I am a retired teacher, but you hear me say all the time, I am a lifelong educator. You never retire being an educator. So I retired in 2011. I was in the classroom for nearly 3 decades. I've always been teaching all my life. I never give up teaching. And even with this gallery, this is a teaching gallery. It is more than a gallery, it's a teaching gallery. Take on teaching. Last summer, thanks again to the Buccini Pauline Group and the Kenny Family Foundation, the ShopRite owners, they sponsored 40 children who came through this door of the Faith Gallery and participated in learning. It wasn't just painting. I gave them a full-blown education, a lifelong enriching experience where we discuss cultural heritage, diversity, and peace. And when I asked them, choose one of those 3 themes, cultural heritage, diversity, and peace, 99% of those youth or children chose the subject peace, and they painted their beautiful works, masterpieces about peace. So peace is important to children. It is important. They don't take it for granted. And their concept of peace is very revealing. And we could learn a lot from children, from their perception of peace and how we can promote peace. So now, on to the subject of education. Black History Month focus on education. Let me go back to the administration prior to President Obama. That would be the administration of President George Bush. During his era, he had a slogan, "No child left behind." Remember that? No child left behind. Well, in this painting, I interpreted it a different way. I turned it around. Because no child left behind doesn't mean that there are no children left behind. So my theme and my topic that I gave to this painting is leave no child behind. See? You see the difference? No child left behind. Where President Bush was saying, no child left behind. It means the same, that we shouldn't leave any child behind. But I took it head on. Instead of saying no child left behind, which I know children are left behind, I said leave no child behind. So here is a work of art that I created on that theme. Look at it carefully. Leave no child behind. Notice the diversity in the group of children. Notice this star right here. And you know what my philosophy is? Every child, C-A-N in uppercase, every child can be a star. Everyone, if given the opportunity, and the right tools to succeed. I am not speaking from the top of my head. As I told you, I spent approximately 3 decades in the classroom, whether it was from kindergarten through college. I've seen it. I've taught at every level of the system, from kindergarten through college. Okay. And my experience is that every child can be a star. Every child is a star and can be a star, but they must be given the opportunity and the right tools to succeed. Begs the question, are we giving them the right opportunity or the opportunity? Are we giving them the right tools to succeed? Let's answer that question. I want to take you back to this summer. Last summer. The first summer of the pandemic. And it was gnawing on my heartstring of doing something for the children. Because having been in the classroom, and now we have converted to virtual learning and homeschooling, and I know how difficult it is to handle classroom, much more as someone not trained to be in charge of homeschooling. I lift my hat to the parents out there. I lift my hat to the teachers who are doing virtual learning. I know the challenges they're facing. Those 40 children that I brought to this gallery to give them a break from homeschooling and from virtual learning, it was an awakening. I learned a lot. I interacted with them. I got some feedback of what it is to not be in the classroom, to be home, being homeschooled, or doing the virtual learning. It was quite an awakening. And bottom line, the most common factor which came out of that interaction and discussion was the challenges African American children face. And I'm not saying, I made sure to bring in a diverse group of children. The 40 children who came through these doors were diverse. Caucasian, Asian, African American, Indians. I brought in all different races. Yes, because the funds that I got, I felt that it wasn't designed to be used for one group. So I made it diverse. And the feedback that I received when I probed about their experiences with homeschooling and with virtual learning, and again, let me commend parents. Let me commend the teachers who are working so hard at this time to keep education going. And some of them have the fear of going back into the classroom because it's not safe. And if I were in their position, I would be fearful too. So back to the feedback that I received from those children, especially the African American children that I interacted with. They spoke about the challenges. I am hands-on, I'm hands-on learning. I'm a visual learner. I prefer the learning in the classroom. And interestingly, we can't get suspension. We talked about those other parts of like discipline now, And then I learned, not from the children, but there was a post out there which said that when it was time to sign on for virtual learning, someone put a prop in the chair, meaning a child. Placed a prop, signed on, placed a prop or a dummy some image in the chair in front of the computer to pretend that they had signed on for their class. So it's a lot of tricks going on out there. But back to the seriousness of the challenges that face African Americans in this pandemic era, and how their education is going and how it's going to impact them in the future. This morning on the Today Show, there was a discussion about bias in the workplace and the trauma that African Americans face in the and ask me, ask this lady here about that. I am still carrying the scars, the emotional scars of discrimination that I experienced working in corporate America for 12 years. Yes, and the people on that show were talking about that they have to, in creating their resume, this was the expression that the guy who was leading the discussion, African Americans now have to whiten their resume. That is certain little parts that they would put in that would give away their identity. They have to take it out because that could be used against them. And that if they complain, then they're retaliated against. It was all on the show this morning that I learned that. Okay, I'm going to take you back in history to a work of art on my wall. And it goes back to the segregation era. And it's relevant to education. So let's go over to the wall where I have my work. And I will show you the piece for the discussion. This morning I changed my profile, and my profile was Leave No Child Behind. And along with that profile, I did put this piece. Okay, right there, back it up. That piece is titled Still Bridging the Gap. That's a schoolhouse right there. That's the track. That's two children walking on the other side of the rail track. Still bridging the gap. Our education system still is not serving adequately the needs of African American children, are being left behind. In the age of technology, they're being left behind. And with the homeschooling, and the virtual learning, they're given a gadget, like a laptop. However, there are many parents out there who don't have Verizon or Comcast or whatever that technology is, or the hotspot. So those poor African American children are struggling to get education. They're being left behind in this pandemic era. Again, with homeschooling, how do we expect? There are many parents out there who have the desire to do the homeschooling. However, they don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the technical skills or the academic skills to guide the children in the right direction to bring them up to proficiency. They lack it. So, one of the questions I have, the parent conference, are we still having them? In the era of pandemic and virtual learning, I do hope the parent conferences are still being held virtually. And as I said, now the teachers have no control over discipline. And the young children out there, they're filled with tricks. They're filled with tricks. So to get them to sign on and stay in place at that computer and do that virtual learning, it is a challenge. And then the parents who are making the effort, the consistent effort to help to do the homeschool and to educate, they need training. So what I would highly recommend is some mechanism where parents are trained to homeschool and to guide their children and to administer discipline. Yeah, discipline has to be a component. Now, everything has gone loose because if they're not in the confines of the classroom, they can't be written up. They can't be disciplined. So that component is very difficult to maneuver. But I'm more concerned about what's going to happen for the future of African American children who are feeling the disparity in education, that are being left behind in this virtual age, in the age of the pandemic, when virtual learning is the norm and homeschooling, and when many African parents do not have the skills to homeschool. They have to be juggling work. They're not even sure if the children, when they are going to work, and those who are able to be on their own, if they are signing in or taking in, meaning we're talking now those who have the access to the virtual learning. They could be not being responsible. They could be carrying out in an irresponsible way. But I'm more concerned about those children who do not have the technology. And African American children, many of them do not have the full technology to advance in the virtual learning world, in the pandemic era, in the homeschooling world. So, leave no child behind. Leave no child behind. Some children are being left behind. What are we going to do about it? There needs to be something done, some action. It needs to be addressed. And there has to be some mechanisms set up to help parents whose children are being left behind, to help to educate them to manage the challenges of work, homeschooling, virtual learning, discipline, all of that combined. So I am appealing to the powers that be. Put on your thinking cap. Come up with mechanisms to save the children, the African American children of the next generation. We want lawyers. We want, look, with the disparity out there and the biases, if we don't have our own to defend us, social justice is a big issue. We need to, our children need to be the next lawyers, the next doctors, the next great technologists. We want them to be that, but they're being left behind in the process. So something needs to be done. And from my vantage point, I'll try as best to see what I can do. But it is everyone's responsibility to ensure that we leave no child behind. Because every child can be a star. Can be a star. I told you how passionate I am about the subject. So I'll be coming up with some ideas that I will forward up through the chains of commands as far as education is concerned in my state and city. You know, there's a limit to what I can do. But if everybody watching out there does something to help those children who are being left behind, and look, it's not a black thing. So granted, okay, so you your child is not in the population that is facing the disparity in education. It takes a village. Why can't you, as a race that is succeeding and your children are succeeding, how can you reach out and help some African American parents so that they can bring their children up to the level to succeed? Let's all get on board. Let's all get on board. We are a salad bowl of cultures. We have evolved from the great melting pot, and diversity is very important. That is why my exhibition for the month is titled Black History, Diverse Perspective, because Black history is not all black. And yes, I am not intending to put any wrinkles on it, but I'm saying our Black history is pretty diverse. Let me go back to one image that will bear out the point of what I'm talking about and what our children need to learn about Black history. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay. When we are talking about taking our history from the Gold Coast of Africa. Now, look at this picture right here. This picture. Harriet Tubman. And that, you remember a while ago what I said about what other races can do to help those whose children are being left behind, how they can reach out and try to help? Well, here we go. To the left, that was Thomas Garrett, who lived in the city of Wilmington, Delaware on 5th Street. Harriet Tubman tracked all the way from Maryland. They bonded as station masters to free slaves. Two people of diverse background working for a cause, the cause of freedom. And this painting is titled Tubman and Garrett Road to Freedom. There we go. That's the diversity I am talking about. That is what I'm saying, that we as a nation need to come together for the common good and not remain in our little corners. And our children are doing well and they're coping with the pandemic. Yeah, and they're being homeschooled or they're doing their virtual learning. They're not being left behind. We want to leave no child behind. Leave no child behind is my resounding message. Leave no child behind, because every child can be a star if given the opportunity and the right tools to succeed. Okay, so that's my message for today. And this morning, when Reverend Benjamin was here, he set up my studio in such a way, because he did a very elaborate video. So I just want to, before I put the pieces back in their place, I just want to show, yes, this is a board with my information. When Delaware Today in 2015 interviewed me, they gave me 3 full pages. 3 full pages in their catalog. That is, this is one of my pieces here, and it's Black history. And Black history doesn't take in just people who were born here in America. People from other places and who brought their heritage, or who were born here but of different heritage, they have a role. As General Colin Powell, Secretary of State, played a dynamic role in the military. General, 4-star general. His parents were from Jamaica. Yes, a place called St. Elizabeth, Top Hill. He was born in the Bronx. In 1993, I had the honor of presenting him with one of my paintings. And that man loves his heritage. I understand that his office, he plays Jamaican music, reggae music. Yeah, he loves his heritage. And yes, Reverend Benjamin in his interview wanted to showcase some of my awards, and that's our late actor, or former, or former governor, Jack Markell, presenting me with the Governor's Award for the Arts. This was in 2014. And my famous melting pot versus the salad bowl. The most important work of art I've created in 28 years. This piece. This is where we are today. We have evolved. We are no longer this great melting pot. We are a salad bowl of culture where every individual is contributing and should be respected for what we add to the flavor of this great nation. The flag is our anchor, and it unites us, or should. Okay, that piece is titled Diversity. Came out of my 4th grade class right here in the city. And it's off the Jamaica's motto, out of many, one people. And along the walls, I have been taking you on the journey. I spoke about Tupac. I think that was one of the first persons I recognized. The rose that grew from the crack in the concrete when no one else ever cared. And what Tupac was saying there, that despite your struggles and all the things you go through, you can break the cycle and be a rose that grows from the crack in the concrete. Social justice. That's one of the themes in my gallery. So I took the Black history all the way from the Gold Coast of Africa. Right there. The Underground Railroad. The dismantling of the last bastion of slavery in Galveston, Texas in 1865. Juneteenth there, 19th of June, 1865. All the way to last May, end of May, with the killing of George Floyd, when the cry was for no justice, no peace. They were saying N-O, as in there is no. We know there is no for some people, as in that case. And then I turned it the other way. I said K-N-O-W. No justice, no peace. That's my hair right there. Huh. The next piece in the series, this is personal, very personal. I'm not going to go into the details of it. Yeah, suffice it to say, that was me right there. Read into the piece. You can figure out what was happening right there. Okay. Nelson Mandela wasn't born here, but he's related to our Black history. And you know, there is a quote, a Nelson Mandela quote, that's so important. Hate is learned. Let me put my face in so I can say that with power. Nelson Mandela, the great peace advocate, champion of peace in the world. When he was imprisoned for 27 years and was released instead of carrying out vendetta, he set up a commission, and a reconciliation commission. And in one of his quotes, he said, hate is learned. And if hate is learned, love can be taught. How philosophical and real. Yesterday, I gave a trivia. Nobody responded, but I'll give it again. Name these 4 famous Black Americans. Let me put a spotlight on them so you can see them some more. Name them. If you go to my website, www.liveandlearn, lafayettegallery.com. Fill out the form, the contact form, name them. Name the 4 people there, you will get a prize. I'll mail a prize to you free of cost. There you go. Yes, this was 2008 at Rodney Square. And this is an iconic painting because the statue is no longer there. That was when he wasn't president then, Senator Barack Obama of Illinois came to Rodney Square, spoke to 10,000 people with a resounding message of hope and change. That's the late Kobe Bryant. And this original painting is now in a museum. The Biggs Museum of American Art collected this painting. This is my Bob Marley series, legendary One Love. One Love. That's the sculpture. That's Bob Marley, and that's United by Reggae Music. Okay, so this morning when Reverend Benjamin was here, he picked up quite a few of these small pieces because they're only $20. Only $20. He was alarmed when I told him for the frame. He said, for the frame and all? Sure, because I'm trying to make it affordable. So when you come to Lafayette Gallery, it's not a money issue. It's an issue about value. You have to value art, value culture. And I wish there were more people out there who value culture and value art to collect. I just showed you Tubman and Garrett. Children need to learn that. About diversity, that 2 people of opposite races can still come together for a cause for a different race, as these 2 people did. $20. And here's my first painting of 2020. Well, that's a limited edition, double matted. Or first vice president, number 49. That's the number. She is the first female black vice president. And I titled the piece, She Makes History, because she's still making history. And you know, there's an expression I saw out there in social media. And they had her picture, they said, I break glass ceilings and I break ties, which means she's a tie breaker in Congress. And she broke tie last week. Her first tie was broken. So I'm so delighted. And since I started out with education, I will conclude with education. Leave no child behind, because every child can be a star if given the opportunity and the right tools to succeed. And finally, my products. Where do you get them? My mugs, t-shirt, etc. At that HTTPS link. Click on it right now. Go there to get your mugs. That's a Kobe Bryant tote bag, huge one. A mug, a carry-on purse. That's the village here, the village tote bag, the village mug. There are t-shirts of all types, mugs of all types. They're here. And the prices they're not out of your reach. The 15-ounce mug, the 12-ounce mug, that's a price on it right there. The larger mugs, the 15-ounce mug, that's a price right there. That's all it costs. These are not just mugs. These are works of art of an original painting of a famous artist. So when you buy these, you're buying more than a mug, guys. You're collecting wealth. Art is wealth. Art appreciate art. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe. Mask up. And this weekend, well, Valentine's is coming up on Monday, naturally. Lafayette Gallery offers Valentine paint day or paint night. It's not too late. So if you're interested in organizing a paint night for 6 is the maximum I take in the gallery, do 2 per table, separated by plexiglass. You wear masks, you wear gloves. It is very safe. If you're interested in organizing a paint night or paint day for this Saturday or Monday, call 302 656 6786 to organize that. Go online to do your shopping, www.thefaithgallery.com or fineartamerica.com with that link that I gave you. Collect art. Art is wealth. It's more than beauty on the wall. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.